Hi and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. We are going to be talking about a movie that I doubt very few of you have seen, and this one is called Preternatural. And this is a 2015 independently produced British film by Deadbolt Films. This one's directed by Gav Chucky Still and written by Dixon Barker. Now, the thing with this film, it has an extremely low budget. So low, in fact, this is by far and away the lowest budget film I've ever reviewed on this channel. The budget for this movie was simply £100, around 150 US dollars. So it's a very kind of unique film, but don't be put off by the budget. There's plenty of films out there that have a lot more budget than this one that are terrible. So this film has, I would say, one kind of very kind of large feather in its cap, and that I think is it's got an incredibly good idea and a fairly good script here. So I can't really go too much into the plot. Suffice to say, I'll kind of give you this little hint. It's a shame that it's come out in 2015 with the movie Final Girls that have come out, which kind of tackles a similar issue. That's all I'll kind of say in regards to giving away any spoilers here. But to give you a rough idea of the plot, it focuses on two amateur filmmakers who have decided they're going to go out in the woods and kind of make a very meta movie, kind of like a horror spoof documentary in the style of kind of the Blair Witch Project. And they kind of have these ideas. They're kind of winging it, to be quite honest with you, as they sort of go along. And really, the guys who are actually our two main characters are actually the director and writer in real life. Dixon Barker, I have to say, is channeling Ricky Gervais here. I kind of couldn't help but feel he's obviously a massive fan of Ricky Gervais and is kind of making this part of his character. Am I wrong about this? I don't think so. Anyway, there is a kind of a twist that happens probably 2/3 of the way through this movie that is a real left turn. If you didn't get my kind of little hint at the beginning there, it will kind of it will come out of, you'll be completely surprised by it. And when that actually happened, I was intrigued about where this movie was going. Such a kind of clever idea, and this is how you get round obviously your budgetary limitations. If you have a good idea, and you can kind of transcend to some degree anyway the budgetary constraints. So let's talk about the positives and negatives of this. I can't go into much more details in regards to the plot because I want you to kind of obviously see this film and not be spoiled. So the positives of this film, like I said, this film I think has a fantastic central idea, and it's pretty well written as well. I kind of quite liked the kind of the knowing nods to the genre and some tropes that it kind of plays with your kind of aspirations as a horror fan, and obviously as a film fan in general. I think it's kind of quite clever, quite well written, kind of likeable characters as well. These guys, I don't think are professional actors, but they do a pretty decent job, I think, portraying these characters and making them quite likeable. There are a couple of issues I have with them, but I'll come on to. But nonetheless, I thought it was, likeable characters, a clever script, and it keeps you kind of, certainly when we get to this big twist, I think it really kind of sort of grabs you right up until the end. Just before the end maybe, and it's a good idea. The negatives of this film, I think it's a little bit too self-referential for its own good, I have to say. If you are a horror fan, you enjoy the kind of the pokes at the kind of the sort of cliches you'll have, but I think if you are a casual fan, this is going to seem like you're not going to know what's going on, I don't think, to a point, and you'll find it kind of boring. I have to be honest with you, until we got to the kind of the twist, my interest did start to wane about halfway through, because I did feel it was treading water to some degree. But once we get to this twist, like I said, I thought, wow, where is this going to go? My other little nitpick with it is once the twist happens, we stay with our main characters, and their reactions to what happens is way undersold, in my opinion, because it is so. Kind of knowing about the genre, I was surprised how downplayed their reactions are to what's happened. And I guess the other thing is, it does get quite, it does get kind of like layer upon layer of twists and turns, and I think it ends up becoming a little bit of a head scratcher in the end. And I think it's partially intentional. But like I said, I think this is an intriguing film. I think the filmmakers have got a bright future in front of them. The pure inventiveness and the imagination by these guys making this a real original treat for our horror fans. It's not a gory film, there's not really special effects. I mean, what you're going to expect for £100, but it's got a good idea, and I think it does it best it can with the money available. A couple of tweaks I would have made personally, but overall it's a sterling effort, especially when you consider the budget. So I'm going to give this movie a 7 out of 10. You probably haven't seen it yet, but I would suggest checking it out. I don't think it's got a UK distributor in regards to DVD sales yet, but I'm sure it will have, and you'll be able to check it out in the festival circuit. Anyway, thanks for watching, and bye for now.